Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. Now today I was thinking to share with you, I wanted to share with you 5 fragrances, but I couldn't decide on 5. But basically, I was looking at my collection and I was thinking, what are some of those fragrances that truly stood the test of time? Those fragrances that even in a world of constant new releases, like dozens, hundreds of new releases every few months, what are some of those fragrances that still stand out to me, that I'm not bored of them, that I still think they are amazing fragrances for the price, that I would still recommend them? So the topic of today's video is fragrances that stood the test of time. I have here, let's just say, predominantly Middle Eastern fragrances, but not only Middle Eastern fragrances. And before I start, I would love to hear what are those fragrances that stood the test of time in your collection. Those fragrances that you've had them for, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, and you still gravitate towards them, you still enjoy them, you still love how they smell. Every time you smell them, they still make you feel extremely good. So let's just start. And let's start with the oldest fragrance from today's video that I have featured on my channel. You guys, this fragrance is... I wanted to ask you if you could guess, but I think you can kind of guess. This is Majd Al Sultan by Asdaf Perfumes. This fragrance, you guys, was a hidden gem, and it still is a hidden gem, even though now it's not as hidden. But this fragrance, I still think that for the price range of this fragrance, which is in between, let's just say 20-25, maximum 30 euros, I don't think you can find a fragrance that's more unique, that's better than this fragrance. This fragrance, even though it's for a very specific taste in perfumes, but if you love, in general, resinous balsamic fragrances, if you love spices, I think this will be a gem to your collection. The amount of amazing feedback I've received on this fragrance throughout the years, it's unbelievable. Yeah, even now, after smelling it like more than 4 years later, I think, I still don't know how they did it. You are used to this kind of blend, let's just say, in more like niche, even more so premium fragrance collections. I don't think you can find something like this in the designer section. And also, this is not a dupe to By the Fireplace by Maison. Don't think of this fragrance as a dupe, because this is so much more than that. It's slightly peppery in the opening, but it's not too peppery. I don't know. Think the fragrance from Sèche Le Temps. What was the name of the fragrance? Poivre Noir. It's not that type of black pepper. It's like freshly grounded pepper on a bed of resins. So the overall fragrance feels enveloping. It feels warm. It feels resinous. It feels balsamic. It smells like myrrh, like pepper, like freshly grounded pepper on top of lots and lots of burning myrrh. Because you do have this beautiful warm smoky aroma. I genuinely don't think you can find a better fragrance, a more creative fragrance, a more unique fragrance, such a well done fragrance in this price range. And also, considering it's not really a dupe of anything, when I smell this fragrance, And also, you might be tempted to think it's more of a challenging fragrance, but surprisingly it's not. It's so smooth, so well blended. It feels like it's a statement fragrance for sure, very powerful, very bold, very daring, confidence boosting type of fragrance for men and women. But the scent is what makes this fragrance stand out, and the quality, you guys. This smells extremely high quality. Like, if you were to smell this fragrance blindly, but let's just say not maybe when you do the first spray, like few seconds in, like if you would give the test strip, like, I don't know, like a minute or two, and if you were to smell this fragrance blindly, perhaps not you, perhaps people around you who have a bit of knowledge in terms of fragrances, or when it comes to fragrances, they wouldn't guess this is like, what, like 20, 25, maximum 30 euro fragrance. So that was the first fragrance. Still think it's a brilliant fragrance even after all these years, and it still is one of my most purchased recommendations by you, and one of the fragrances I received the best feedback in these 4 years. So yeah, let's go somewhat chronologically, and let's continue with this fragrance, Amber Oud Tobacco from Alhambra. You guys, I feel like if you are watching my videos for new fragrances, like new fragrances to take into account, yes, of course, I'm doing my reviews, you know, I am lucky to collaborate with different brands. I purchase fragrances on my own, I review them, but at the same time, I'm so faithful when it comes to the fragrances that I love, that if, I don't know, like 1 or 2 years down the line, you'd ask me like my updated top 10, but let's make it 2025 to be more realistic, perfumes of all time, you'd see pretty much the same fragrances. I'd say that it takes a while for a fragrance to get to my heart, but once it does, and once I click with it, it's like a love for life, you know? I still think this is one of the most beautiful entry-level tobacco perfumes. I don't even remember, was it 2019, 2020, 2021 when I've discovered this fragrance? No, I think it actually was 2021. So like what, 4 years ago? If not, maybe a little bit more. And whenever I smell this fragrance, I still find it just as beautiful. The way the spices are blended here. So this, first things first, is only for the spice lovers. If you don't love spices, this is not for you. I've received, don't get me wrong, I've received, where did I put the fragrance? Here. So I received amazing feedback on this fragrance, but I've also received not so great feedback, not such a positive feedback. But the main aspect people were complaining was the spices. Some said it smells like pot. I don't know how to pronounce that word in English. I will add it here on the screen. Yeah, to me it doesn't. To me it smells just like a gentle, warm honey tobacco with lots of different spices like ginger, cloves. Cloves add such an interesting facet in perfumes. This like hot and cold undertone to a fragrance, and yeah, pepper, something like a little bit pepper in the opening. It has a plethora of spices, cinnamon, everything you can think of. When it comes to sweet spices, you have it here. Blended with honey, blended with vanilla, and this beautiful tobacco. Yeah. I don't think I could ever get tired of this fragrance. I cannot wait to start wearing it more, you guys. I mean, you'll see it. I mean, I feel like the majority of these fragrances are geared more for cold season, let's just say autumn, winter, typically. But yeah, I think this is my second bottle. I don't think it's my third, I think it's my second bottle, and I love it just as much. I am not bored of this fragrance. Every time I smell this fragrance, I feel the same happiness inside. I feel the same warmth inside. I don't know, like I feel like I am falling in love with it all over again. So that was the second fragrance. Now moving on to the third fragrance. Since we are discussing tobacco cords in fragrances, I have to highlight this fragrance. I have to highlight it. This is Red Tobacco from Mancera. I have a cat hair on it for some reason. This fragrance leaves me speechless. It's something, there's something so raw and untamed and primal about this fragrance. Like the spices, they are not your cutesy, smooth, sweet spices like you have in this fragrance, or like you have even in Majd al Sultan from Asdaf. No, to me the spices here, they make quite a show. The nutmeg here definitely shines, but it comes across, if you've ever smelled like nutmeg essential oil, you know, if you've smelled powdered nutmeg, it has a certain scent profile. It's like, how to describe it, like a little bit sweet, like a little bit peppery. That's how I'll describe it. But if you smell nutmeg essential oil, it has this unexpected greenness about it. And this nutmeg accord paired with the tobacco accord paired with, let me just spray it. I love to smell this fragrance, you guys. So this, the nutmeg hits your nose. It's not the smoothest of rides when it comes to this fragrance. I think it's a love or hate, but I appreciate this exact quality about it. For me, I like fragrances that are not afraid to be bold and loud in any direction, even though perhaps it's not something that I would wear myself, but I like to see that the perfumer behind in a way pushed the limit when it comes to a certain note or the creative direction when it comes to a specific fragrance, a specific accord, a specific note in perfumes. I like that, you know, to me it's almost like a touch of something genius behind. And I think this is what they did here with the nutmeg. Frankly, if the nutmeg wouldn't have been so accentuated, I don't know, would this fragrance have lost its spark in a way? I think this is so well loved by the people who click with this fragrance because of the whole standalone fragrance combined, and because of this unapologetic, loud, bold, expensive smelling quality. I genuinely think this fragrance would last me a lifetime because I've had it for quite a while now. I don't exactly know how many years, but I've had it for I think more than 3 years by now, and I've worn it a lot, but just by looking at this you wouldn't notice I've worn it that much because you don't need a lot of sprays. if you overdo this fragrance, it can kind of go into the cheap direction. I think less is definitely more. Let's talk about Royal Blend from French Avenue. I think I can say this is my favorite fragrance from French Avenue. Yeah, I think this is my favorite fragrance from French Avenue, and this says a lot because I got to test so many perfumes from French Avenue. Now this, to me, again, this is a take on the DNA of Angel Share. But like I think I've said this in every video where I'm discussing it, to me, it has something edgy and hipstery about it. So if you think your typical, yeah, it smells like an apple pie. Apple pie taken out from the fridge, from the freezer. So it's slightly appley, slightly cinnamony, slightly sweet and spicy. It has this beautiful, minimalistic, molecular undertone about it and this cooling effect to it. But what I like is that, in a way, let's just say compared to fragrances like Royal Blend Nero, which I know a lot of people prefer that fragrance to this fragrance. Royal Blend Nero, think Alhambra by Lattafa, think Kismet Angel, think from Khadlaj, Intoxicated, I think it was called. Compared to those fragrances, to me, this has something so modern and molecular that kind of gives it this hipstery edge about it, this chic statement hipstery edge. And I'm telling you, whenever I'm on the hurry, I put whatever on. I put my oversized coat on, like my black oversized coat, like my hair is done, minimal makeup. I put this fragrance on and I feel like $1,000,000. It doesn't matter that I have to go, I don't know, like 10 minutes down the road to buy something from the supermarket, but I feel like $1,000,000 because this is the effect this fragrance has. It makes me feel so put together, but again, very modern, very, I don't know, it has something about it. And that's the texture. I think it's the texture, because it's not your typical warm, resinous, ambery fragrance. It smells, yeah, it smells outstanding. I generally think they did an outstanding job with this fragrance. So yeah, again, I don't think I can get tired of this DNA. I started to wear it again so much more, you guys. This one, Decadent from Naseem Perfumes, again, are my favorite takes on the DNA of Angel Share. Moving on to the next fragrance slash fragrances, because I have here the OG and I have an inspiration, and I love both just as much. So I have here Mula Mula from Byron Perfumes and Mojo from Twins Paris. You guys, if you love Mula Mula, or if you want the closest inspiration, at least that I've tried myself, to Mula Mula, and I find it very hard to imagine another inspiration that could be closer to Mula Mula, because this is already like, of course, it's not really a spot-on inspiration, but it's the closest. Like if you smell this fragrance, like if I smell this fragrance, I'm smelling Mula Mula. Look into this fragrance. Now, I'm not really sure if the brand Twins Paris is available worldwide. You were able to find this fragrance on the Dubai collection, but for a while, I don't know why they never brought it back in stock. So yeah, at least here in Romania, I don't think there is another, no, for sure, there's not another website that carries this brand. But yeah, you guys, this scent DNA, you know, like when you go to your collection and you smell some fragrances and you feel like a tickle in your heart, you know, like that burst of joy, that feeling that you have when you're smelling a fragrance that you love and that, I don't know, just speaks to you in a way. This is how I feel when I smell, I'd say not really all of these fragrances, but almost, besides one. One, I still think it's amazing, but I don't feel that tickle in my heart, that burst of joy when I smell it, but I still think it's brilliant. So yeah, this to me, it blends. This to me was the first, or one of the first fragrances I've tried with a pronounced strawberry accord that really caught my heart. I have to say, in the beginning of my fragrance journey, I was very drawn to animalic musks, to resinous balsamic facets, to spices, to tobacco, and I still am. That's like a part of me. But few years, let's just say down the line, I've started to explore much more sweeter fragrances that feature a fruity accord. I never thought I really love fruity accords in that sense. Yeah, I just love the way they did the strawberry accord here, blended with the woody accord, that hard candy sugary facet that get me every time. You guys, I dread the day this fragrance will finish, but I know for sure this is the kind of fragrance that I think even when I'm 60, I still want to smell this fragrance because of how it makes me feel. The power fragrances have to awaken certain energies within you, to make you feel some type of way. It's art, you guys. Fragrance is scented art, and a fragrance doesn't have to be expensive. A fragrance does, I mean, it can be expensive, it can be affordable. It generally is about how you feel when you wear that fragrance. It's not even about the compliments. It's about, at least for me, how it makes me feel, and yeah, moving on to this fragrance. I don't think I could ever get tired of this fragrance. This is my pick-me-up fragrance. This is Arabian Tonka from Montal. I will always have the OG, even though I've discovered amazing inspirations. Think Secret Mask, think Noir d'Arabie. There's another one from Reese that I haven't tried it, but I will always want to have the OG. This is my second bottle and I have a backup bottle. There's just something about this fragrance, like the way I've clicked with this fragrance. Like I've said in the other videos, when I need a pick-me-up fragrance, this is it. The sugar, the way the sugar we accord here blends with the saffron that adds this translucent facet, blends with the woody, more so of a woody accord with the oak moss. I think this is the fragrance that made me love oak moss in fragrances, oak moss in perfumes as an accord, but it's in this specific combination with the sugary facet that I adore this fragrance. And last but not least, I want to highlight this fragrance. Now, even though this is not one of those fragrances that I can say my heart chose it, I am madly in love with this fragrance, but this is the kind of fragrance that doesn't matter if it's summer, if it's winter, if it's autumn, if it's spring, if it's gloomy and moody, if we have a heat wave going on, if it's raining and it's chilly, if it's foggy, it doesn't matter anything. I know I can count on this fragrance during the daytime, during the nighttime, everything in between, think all occasions, even to the gym. I genuinely know I can count on this fragrance, and this fragrance is Arak from Ahmed El Maghribi. One of the most versatile and beautiful fragrances from them, and I love what they did with this DNA. I genuinely love what they did. To me, they've upgraded Good Girl from Carolina Herrera. They made it creamier, they made it more round around the edges, something sweet citrusy, a juicy pear, creamy white florals, tuberose, jasmine. The tuberose is a little bit green, gentle, woodsy facet that ground the fragrance to me. They've upgraded this scent profile to perfection. If you know yourself to be a lover of Good Girl, the OG, and you haven't tried this fragrance yet, please try it, you guys. Try it, because this is extremely oily. Longevity is amazing, projection is amazing, sillage is amazing, like, and I'm telling you, it smells so feminine and womanly and put together, you know. Yeah, that's the kind of fragrance, that's that kind of fragrance that you cannot go wrong with. Work, school, high school, I don't know, like a wedding, why not? Your wedding, your friend's wedding, baby shower, I don't know, church on Sunday, if you go to church on Sunday, a clubbing night, I don't know, like a tea date with your mom, why not? All occasions, genuinely all occasions, this is that kind of fragrance for me. So these were some of the fragrances I wanted to highlight, you guys, and I kind of want to encourage you to do the same. Go to your collection, doesn't matter if you have 10 fragrances, doesn't matter if you have 50, 100, 300, 400 fragrances, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, I don't know, but try to look what are those fragrances that tickle your heart, you know, like they make your heart feel warm, like they put a smile on your face, like whenever you smell them, it's almost like you'd drink them, like you'd bath in them. This is how much you love them, because I think it's very important to be mindful and to not forget them, especially when there are constant new releases. Let's not forget about those fragrances that perhaps we have some of the best memories in our lives with them. Perhaps when you smell them, you think of a dear person in your life. Perhaps when you smell them, I don't know, like I told you, they just make your heart tickle, like they make you feel warm on the inside. They make you feel happy, they make you feel bubbly, they make you feel joy, and they make you feel this sense of appreciation for the collection you already have. So yeah, I'd love to know what are those fragrances for you. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you in my next video, but until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.